Good morning. This is Sumit. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you okay, Sumit. You hear us okay?
Actually, yeah, it was giving me trouble. My computer, I could not actually hear anyone at all, but now I can.
Excellent.
So now I think everything is in good order.
All
And
right.
since it is just about after 10 o'clock, we might as well get the ball rolling, right?
Worked out good. We do have quorum now, so you can proceed.
Oh, thank you, Linda. With that said, now that the technical glitches are out of the way, good morning, members of the MAG Transportation Review Committee. As a reminder, please turn your mics on and clearly state your name before speaking to ensure that members of the audience can hear you. And please mute your mics when not speaking to eliminate any feedback noise. Because this is a virtual meeting, a roll call vote will be taken for each action item on the agenda. Phone-only attendees will need to press *6 to unmute themselves. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call of all members. Linda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I call your name, please indicate you are present for the record. Shahid Abbas. Grant Anderson.
Here.
Thank you. Keith Brown.
Here.
Thank you. Jason Crampton.
Here.
Thank you. Mark Dorsey.
Present.
Thank you. Keith Dranowski.
Here.
Thank you. Jorge Gastelum.
Present.
Thank you. Jason Hafner.
Present.
Thank you. Carol Ketcherside. David Janover.
Here.
Thank you. Kenny Knudsen.
Here.
Thank you. Scott Lowe.
Here.
Thank you. Adina Lund.
Here.
Thank you. Hal Marin. Jamie McCracken. Mark Melich. Oh,
Sorry, I'm here for Jamie. My name is Randy Babchick. He's actually been reassigned to a different department. And now I'm in charge of field operations, so I'm here.
thank you, Randy. Mark Melichenko.
Here.
Thank you. Sumit is here. Paul Patney. Christopher Solis. Shelley Seiler.
Here.
Thank you. Ed Stillings. Bob Thaxton. Raj Thadam.
Here.
Thank you. Chris Wanamaker. Mike Weber.
Here.
Thank you. Steve Wilcox. Herschel Workman. Mohammed Yosef.
Here.
Thank you. And RJ Zetter. Chair, we have a quorum.
Linda?
Excellent. Thank you, Linda.
Oh, I hear someone.
This is Carol Ketcherside. I responded, but I didn't hear you say you heard me.
Yep, I have you down. Thank you, Carol.
Okay.
Chair, we do have a quorum.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Appreciate that. Moving on to agenda item number 2, call to the audience. So an opportunity for public comment on the agenda was provided ahead of the meeting. Linda, have we received any public comments?
We have not received any public comments for this item or any other item on the agenda.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay.
Moving on to item number 3, Transportation Policy and Planning Director's Report. So Tim Stroh, MAG Transportation Policy and Planning Director, will provide a report to the Transportation Review Committee on activities of general interest. Tim.
Thank you, Vice Chair Mohan. Good morning, members of the Transportation Review Committee. Hope everybody's doing great and getting ready for to enjoy the holidays coming up here pretty soon. I'd like to start by welcoming Sean Snyder, City Engineer representing the town of Paradise Valley. He'll be now representing his community on this committee. So welcome, Sean. I would also like to congratulate Mike Weaver, Public Works Director from the City of Apache Junction. I believe Mike is retiring at the end of the year. and this is his last TRC meeting. So I want to say congratulations, Mike, and thank you for participating on this committee. And we wish you the best of luck on your future adventures. So thank you, Mike. Next item I have is there's some exciting news announced earlier this month. I want to congratulate the City of Phoenix for receiving a $1 million grant from FTA to help implement the South Central Downtown Hub Light Rail Extension Transit-Oriented Development Community Plan. The funding will help the city with its mission of supporting affordable housing, increasing public transit ridership, connectivity, accessibility for residents and visitors. So congratulations, Keeney and your team. Next item I want to bring attention to is at the last TRC meeting, I notified the committee that the I-17 construction project was kicking off from Anthem to Sunset Point. This month, I wanted to inform you that controlled rock blasting has started along certain portions of the project. The blasting will typically occur during the weekdays between 10 and 11 p.m. at night. Both sides of I-17 will be shut down during this blasting process. You should expect delays of approximately 1 hour and backups up to 2 miles. The one thing I wanted to call out, let members of your public know, the business community. So, the more information we get out there, the less impacts will be. The weekly blasting schedule can be found on the EDOT website, improvingi17.com, under the traffic alerts tab. And then you can also get real-time information on AZ 511 app. So get the word out. Next agenda item is regarding the regional competitive programs, call for projects for the system management and operations projects. A memo was distributed to this committee and other MAG committees on December 1st, announcing this call for projects. The funding amount is $9.4 million in CMAQ funding for fiscal year 2025 projects. Applications are due January 13th at 10 a.m. Please remember that no late applications will be accepted. An application workshop was held yesterday for members of ITS and this committee. The workshop was recorded. So if you have any questions about the process or any technical information that you need, please, after this meeting, reach out to Patrick Stone or Jeff Jang with any questions. Next item is RRF revenue collections continue to remain strong this year. November collections were 11.6 higher than November the previous year. Retail sales remain extremely strong, and HERF collections were approximately 4.1% higher than November the previous year. So that's good news. Regarding the Prop 400 extension, I want to let the committee know that it remains a top priority for MAG staff and MAG leadership. We continue to look for opportunities to get the extension on a future ballot. If you have any questions regarding this, please reach out to us offline. You can contact Audra Kester Thomas or John Bowen with any questions. And then late last night, the US DOT published its notice of funding opportunity for the RAISE grant program. We'll be sending out a memo later today with more information on that. Like I said, it was just released, but you can count on the applications will be due February 28th, 2023. $1.5 billion is available. And like I said, we will be sending out a memo later today with more information. So keep an eye out for that. Mr. Vice Chair, that completes my update.
Thank you, Tim. Lots of good news. Appreciate that. Moving on to item number 4. Items 4A through 4D are on the consent agenda. Are there any items members wish to be taken off the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve consent agenda items 4A through 4D?
Mr. Chair, Scott Lowe, Buckeye, move to approve. This is Dave Janover from Fountain Hills, second.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Dave. We have a motion from Scott Lowe and a second from David Janover. Linda will do a roll call vote of all members participating. Please indicate how you vote. Linda?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Grant Anderson?
Aye.
Thank you. Keith Brown?
Aye.
Thank you. Jason Crampton?
Aye.
Thank you. Mark Dorsey?
Aye.
Thank you. Keith Dranowski?
Aye.
Thank you. Jorge Gastelum?
Aye.
Thank you. Jason Hafner.
Aye.
Thank you. Carol Ketcherside. I'll come back to her. David Janover.
Aye.
Thank you. Can-
It feels like you're not hearing me when I.
Oh, I hear you. I barely hear you now.
Right, barely.
This is
Thank-
Keeney, aye.
Thank you. Carol, I did get your vote. You voted aye, correct? You're very, very faint.
Yes, I voted aye.
Thank you. Scott Lowe.
Aye.
Thank you. Adina Lund.
Aye.
Thank you. Randy Bobchuk.
Aye.
Thank you. Mark Melichenko.
Aye.
Thank you. Shelley Seiler.
Aye.
Thank you. Sean Snyder.
Aye.
Thank you. Raj Thoudam.
Aye.
Thank you. Mike Weber.
Aye.
Thank you. Mohammed Yosef.
Aye.
Thank you. And Mr. Vice Chair, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Have I missed anybody?
Yes, Linda, this is Steve Wilcox with Maricopa County, and I vote aye.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously.
Excellent. Thank you, Linda. With a motion and a second, the motion passes. So that's wonderful. Moving on to item number 5, Regional Competitive Programs, Roadway Safety Program, Fiscal Year 2024 Project Selection. Item number 5 on the agenda will be presented by Margaret Herrera, MAG Transportation Safety Program Manager. This item is on the agenda for action. So go ahead, Margaret.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and members of the Transportation Review Committee. I'm happy to be here today to provide a report on this item. Next slide, please. Just to provide a very brief kind of history or background regarding the Roadway Safety Program, or RSP. MAG in 2019 initiated this roadway safety program to supplement the state's highway safety improvement program. MAG facilitates a highway user fund, or HERF swap, for this regional program that can improve safety conditions on our roadways in all areas. And here shown on the screen is the this year's annual RSP report. You can access that for more information at azmag.gov/RSP. Next slide, please. Yes, so on August 1st, we released a call for projects for the fiscal year 2024 RSP program. We received 28 applications, which was about twice amount that we typically get. We received those from about 12 MAG member agencies, requesting a total of a little over $10 million. This year's availability is a little over $2.1 million. Next slide, please. I thought it might be beneficial. You're going to be seeing some of the, or also in your agenda packet, you have the list of projects, the prioritized list of projects. I thought it might be beneficial to briefly go through the elements of the prioritization tool. What you're seeing now on the screen is the quantitative criteria. You can see we include traditional elements such as the benefit cost ratio, the crash rate, as well as 3 elements for network screening, project identification through study, alignment with the MAG Strategic Transportation Safety Plan, or STSP, as well as 5 equity elements. So the data from the applications, if you could just go back once more. Sorry, go back to the quantitative, there we go. So as you can see, these elements are taken by MAG staff and placed in the prioritization tool as quantitative data from the application. Okay, next slide, please. Now for the qualitative criteria, these are the elements that members of the safety committee use to evaluate each application. So as you can see here on the screen, some of the examples of the qualitative elements are considering if the project description is consistent with the proposed schedule that would need to completion in 24 months. The scoring for these was from 0 to 4. So as an example, our for the number 3 qualitative criteria are safe system principles and elements addressed. Evaluators provided points for no evidence, minimal evidence, partial evidence, acceptable evidence, or exceptional evidence. And examples of those were given for evaluators to consider. Next slide, please. So on this side, you can see how those 2 scores are kind of combined for the final score and rank. For the quantitative score, as the sum of each of the 6 elements weighted separately at 12.5%. The qualitative score was the sum of all scores for all evaluators averaged for each of the 5 elements weighted separately at 5%. Combining both of those for the final score and rank. Next slide, please. So as you can see here on the screen, the prioritization tool that was implemented for this cycle, we were able to fund 5 projects this year, or we would be able to fund 5 projects this year with the available amount of a little over $2.1 million. I'd just like to point out that we are seeing a lot more projects that are in our more rural areas with the Goodyear project, as well as some of our smaller communities in Carefree that have the ability to compete well with some of the larger agencies. So with that, we can go to the next slide. And as Mr. Vice Chair mentioned, this is an item for your consideration today to recommend the list of 5 projects to be funded with available MAG Roadway Safety Program funds in fiscal year 2024. Mr. Chair, excuse me, Mr. Chair, that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Margaret. Great presentation. Are there any comments or questions before we entertain a motion? I guess you did a great job, Margaret. So there are no questions. So is there a motion to recommend approval of the prioritized listing of FY 2024 roadway safety program projects and proposed funding scenario?
Yes, so moved. This is Shahid, City of Glendale.
Thank you, Shahid.
Seconded by Keeney Knudsen, City of Phoenix.
Thank you, Keeney. So we have a motion from Shahid Abbas, and also we have a second from Keeney Knudsen. Linda will now do a roll call of all members participating. Please indicate how you vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please indicate how you vote. Grant Anderson.
Aye.
Thank you. Keith Brown.
Aye.
Thank you. Jason Crampton.
Aye.
Thank you. Mark Dorsey.
Aye.
Thank you. Keith Dranowski.
Aye.
Thank you. Jorge Gastelum.
Aye.
Thank you. Jason Hafner.
Aye.
Thank you. Carol Ketcherside.
Aye.
Thank you. Oh, I heard you loud and clear that time.
Yeah, I made an adjustment.
David Janover.
Aye.
Thank you. Kenny Knudsen.
Aye.
Thank you. Scott Lowe.
Aye.
Thank you. Adina Lund.
Aye.
Thank you. Randy Bobchuk.
Aye.
Thank you. Mark Melichenko.
Aye.
Thank you. Shelley Seiler.
Aye.
Thank you. Sean Snyder.
Aye.
Thank you. Raj Thadam.
Aye.
Thank you. Mike Weber.
Aye.
Thank you. Steve Wilcox.
Aye.
Thank you. Mohammed Yosef.
Aye.
Thank you. And Mr. Vice Chair, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Have I missed anybody? The motion passes unanimously.
Excellent. Thank you, Linda. Moving on to item number 6. Item number 6 on the agenda will be presented by Patrick Stone, MAG Transportation Improvement Program Supervisor. This item is on the agenda for action. So, Patrick.
Good morning, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the Transportation Review Committee. As the Vice Chair noted, this item is on the agenda for action. Next slide, please. As always, I'd like to start with the policy that guides the closeout process, which in this case is the MAG Federal Fund Programming Guidelines approved by MAG Regional Council back in June of 2015. Highlighted on the slide is the consideration at TRC for how to distribute the funding associated with closeout, and is really the basis for the presentation and action being considered today. Next slide, please. So the critical component of closeout is ensuring that all federal funds allocated to the region are obligated. As shown on the slide, the funding comes from a variety of sources, including project deferrals, bid savings from projects, and also savings when projects close out under the obligated amount. Next slide, please. So this slide highlights the non-life cycle programs that use the suballocated federal aid. In essence, these are the programs that are eligible to do the closeout process and the projects associated with those programs. You can see it's quite a diverse listing of programs and those projects. Next slide, please. So on the left hand of this slide is kind of an overview of the types of requests that MAG traditionally receives associated with closeout. Obviously, preference given to advancing future year construction projects. We also look at funding shortfalls for current year construction projects. We have the ability to fund current and prior year design. And then also we do fund the balance of design assistance projects and street sweeper projects that were done as part of the 2023 call for projects. On the right-hand side of the slide is a brief summation of how closeout is calculated. We start with the amount of federal funding suballocated to the region, offset that with the projects that are currently programmed, and that provides our closeout amount. And then listed below that is the proposed funding scenario in front of the committee today. And noting that there's a balance of just about $1.2 million left over. As noted on the slide, that funding would be then rolled forward to fiscal year 2024 to be used for closeout next year. One thing I did want to note on this slide, the closeout funding available is listed as 40 million. The memo that was sent out to the committees listed an amount of 30 million. The difference is associated with 2 deferrals that MAG received after that memo was distributed, making additional funding available for this closeout funding scenario. Next slide, please. So here we have a summation of the different categories of closeout requests that were received this year, along with the number of request dollar amounts asked for. No surprise, given the current economic climate, the largest number of requests and the largest amount of requests were really for shortfalls associated with construction projects programmed in this fiscal year 2023. Do note that we did have a handful of advances, which are always good to see. So we had a few projects ready to go that could take advantage of closeout. And then we also had the various other requests, noting the design assistance and street sweepers at the bottom of the slide. In total, 44 requests and just under $39 million in funding. Next slide, please. And with that, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the Transportation Review Committee, that concludes my presentation, and I'd certainly be available for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Great presentation. Are there any comments or questions before we entertain a motion? You did a great job, Patrick. I guess no questions. So is there a motion to recommend approval of the proposed closeout funding scenario?
Again, Shahid, be moved, please.
Thank you, Shahid.
Keith Brown, second.
Thank you, Keith. So we have a motion from Shahid and a second from Keith. Linda will now do a roll call of all the members participating. Please indicate how you vote.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Grant Anderson.
Aye.
Thank you, Keith Brown.
Aye.
Thank you, Jason Crampton.
Aye.
Thank you, Mark Dorsey.
Aye.
Thank you, Keith Dranowski.
Aye.
Thank you, Jorge Gastelum.
Aye.
Thank you, Jason Hafner.
Aye.
Thank you, Carol Ketcherside.
Aye.
Thank you, David Janover.
Aye.
Thank you, Kinney Knudsen.
Aye.
Thank you, Scott Lowe.
Aye.
Thank you, Adina Lund.
Aye.
Thank you, Randy Babchuk.
Aye.
Thank you, Mark Melichenko.
Aye.
Thank you, Shelley Seiler.
Aye.
Thank you, Sean Snyder.
Aye.
Thank you, Raj Thoudam.
Aye.
Thank you, Mike Weber.
Aye.
Thank you, Steve Wilcox.
Aye.
Thank you, Mohammed Yosef.
Aye.
Thank you. And Mr. Vice Chair, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Have I missed anyone? Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that. Moving on to item number 7. Are there any announcements by TRC members?
Mr. Chair, this is Jason Hafner with the town of Gilbert.
Go ahead, Jason.
Thank you. I just wanted to let this group know that the town applied for an SS4A implementation grant as part of that process. And we were informed on Tuesday that we did meet the criteria in order to have our application reviewed. So that was super good news for us. We applied for a $13.6 million grant to do safety improvements at around 20 schools here around the town. So good news on that front.
Oh, that is excellent. Thanks for sharing that, Jason. Anybody else? Any other announcements? Well, hearing none, moving on to item number 8. Are there any requests by a TRC member for a future agenda item? Anybody reflecting on 2022, thinking of 2000?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I have a query, and you can call it a request. Disclose of funds which are available. I think they are only applicable to those funds which are in the program, and they have some kind of a federal funding associated with them, which came through MAC. I think that policy restricts us from other projects, and that's why we have backlogged $30-40 million, which we cannot spend the money. Is there the possibility of reviewing this and making a recommendation that that restriction be lifted, and any project which is in the region can ask for and is on the tip can ask from MAG for this closeover funding? You
know. Thank you, Shahid. Good question. Tim, is that something we can address here, or is that something we can prepare a response for a future meeting?
Let us talk internally. Right now, I don't think we're looking to update the policy procedures for this program, but we can talk internally and then circle back with Vice Chair and Mr. Abbas.
Okay, thank you so much.
That sounds excellent. Thank you, Tim, and thank you, Shahid, for bringing it up. Any other requests from the TRC members? Hearing none, since I have this dubious distinction of chairing the last meeting of the year, I would like to extend my heartfelt best wishes to everyone, for all of you to have very safe and happy holiday season. With that said, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 26th at 10 a.m. And with no further business, this meeting of the MAG TRC is adjourned at 10:29 a.m. So rather quickly. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hope you all have wonderful, happy